In this series of videos, we're going to cover the main components of Melodyne's interface and menus to get you up to speed and ready to start your own musical experimentations. When you first start up Melodyne, you're looking at the main editor window. The editor window contains some both familiar and possibly not familiar looking tools, but you'll find yourself quite comfortable within a few short minutes, as Melodyne was designed to be very easy to use quickly, and we'll walk you through all the options in coming videos. At the top of the screen, you'll see Melodyne's menus, which contains standard menu items, as well as Melodyne-specific menu items. Taking a look at the Edit menu, the upper half of the Edit menu contains the standard Undo, Cut, Copy, and Paste menu items, and below them are some Melodyne-specific items, which we'll cover in detail now. The Reset Specific Edits menu item contains three submenus, Pitch, Formats, and Amplitude, which allow you to undo specific types of edits. This is very useful for when you want to experiment with a particular type of edit, like the format of a particular blob, but want to keep the pitch correction that was previously applied. The Pitch submenu will allow you to reset the individual characteristics of a particular edit. For example, if you wanted to reset only the pitch drift of a selected note or a group of notes, you would select Reset Pitch Drift from the flyout menu. This will only affect the pitch drift, and it will keep all of your other edits that you may have made to the particular note or group of notes. If you have made a number of pitch changes to a note or a group of notes and aren't happy with any of them, selecting Reset All Pitch Changes will revert the note or group of notes to its original pitch. This includes all pitch, modulation, drift, and transition changes you may have made. Selecting the Formats flyout menu will allow you to reset the formats or the transitions. The Amplitude menu works just the same as the Formats menu. It will allow you to reset the amplitude or the transitions. There's also one additional menu item underneath the Amplitude flyout menu, and that's the Unmute menu item. This button will unmute the selected note or group of notes. The Add Random Deviation menu item allows you to modify the pitch or timing of your audio for interesting effect using preset settings. One use of this might be to modify a main vocal line to give it some personality. If you are unhappy with results, you can always undo them by using the Undo command or by using the Reset Specific Edits menu item. The Pitch Grid menu can be accessed in numerous ways, but from the Edit menu, it allows you to snap the blobs to specific grids, which include No Snap, Semitone Snap, and Scale Snap. The No Snap menu item, just like it sounds, turns the snap feature off. With No Snap selected, the note or group of notes can be moved either left and right in time or up and down in pitch based on my initial mouse movement. So for example, if I first drag the notes horizontally, Melodyne has locked my movement to that axis, and now if I want to move the notes up or down in pitch, I need to release the mouse button and then start a new drag moving the mouse up and down. Semitone Snap allows you to move the note or group of notes a semitone at a time. This is useful for when you want to lock notes into a specific semitone on the scale. This is also the default snap setting of Melodyne. Melodyne also has one other interesting method of snapping notes, the Scale Snap. After selecting the Scale Snap, you will only be able to move notes to other pitches in the selected scale. Melodyne offers just about every scale type imaginable under the flyout menu. The Reference Pitch menu item allows you to change the default Melodyne setting of A 440 Hz to any other valid pitch reference. For the purposes of this video, we'll leave it set to 440 Hz, which is a common starting point for most songs. The Time Grid menu item allows you to snap notes horizontally to either bars or specific beats. This is a very handy feature for when you want to tighten up the performance of a particular audio file. You can select from various types of notes including bar, quarter notes, eighth notes, 16th notes, 32nd notes, triplets, and seconds. The Dynamic menu item will adjust the horizontal scale of the grid to the current zoom level. Most of the time, you'll just want to leave this option on, so we'll leave it on for now. Note, when moving notes horizontally, the time grid settings move notes in equal distance from the previous note. So, if the previous note did not exactly line up on the beat, and you have an eighth note selected as your time snap, Melodyne will move the note exactly an eighth from the previous note. You can override this behavior by holding down the Alt key on a PC or the Alt Option key on a Mac to line up a note precisely where you want it. In addition, you can turn the time grid off and on by using the keyboard shortcut Alt-Control-T on a PC or Alt-Command-T on a Mac. Underneath the familiar Select All menu item, you'll notice one unique to Melodyne, the Select Special item. In this menu, there are lots of options for selecting notes based on similarity or location, and we'll cover them briefly here. The Restore Last Selection menu item reselects the previous selection to the current selection. The Invert Note Selection item selects everything else but the currently selected note. The Select Following Notes selects everything after the current selection. The Select Same Notes selects all the notes in the audio file that are of the same pitch in the same octave. The Select Same Notes in all octaves selects all the notes in the audio file that are of the same pitch and across all octaves. The Select Fifths above and below in all octaves will select all notes that are a fifth away from the currently selected note. This could be very useful when trying to select all the notes of a particular harmony. If you're working on rhythmic material such as a drum loop, the Select Same Beats in Other Bars command could be very helpful for selecting similar material. You can also select notes between loop points by using the Select Notes Between Locators command. Finally, the Rotate and Select Covered Notes command is useful for when you have notes that are overlapping each other, and this will allow you to rotate between the notes, making it much easier to select the notes that are covered. Under the Algorithm menu item, you'll find three options: melodic, percussive, and polyphonic. During the detection phase, Melodyne will group the audio material into one of these three categories. Most of the time, Melodyne picks the right type for the audio being imported, but occasionally it chooses incorrectly, so you can select a different style here. You'll notice that as you change audio types, Melodyne will display the notes differently according to the particular style that you have selected. Most of the time, for a single instrument, such as a lead vocal or stringed instrument, you'll want to use the melodic type. If your audio file has rhythmic elements, such as a kick drum, percussive is your best choice. Finally, if your audio material contains chords, such as a rhythm guitar track, you'll want to use polyphonic. The View menu contains different informational type items that you can display in the editor window. These include auto scroll, pitch curve, note separations, note tails, blob info, intended notes, and notation. The auto scroll item will scroll the editor window during playback. Pitch curve will toggle off and on the pitch curve for the notes in the editor window. Note separations will add gray vertical lines between the notes to help you easily identify where a note starts and ends. Note tails helps to differentiate between the musical content of the note and the non-musical fading portion of the note. Depending on how the note was performed, you may or may not see any visible difference when you have the Note Tails option enabled. Selecting Blob Info will provide additional information about a note when you hover over it. The Intended Notes option displays a gray frame around the note, indicating where Melodyne believes the note pitch and start times begin. Melodyne is usually correct with these assumptions, but it is not always. The Notation menu item will display a staff and conventional music notes, although this is just a representation. No editing can actually be done on the staff. Finally, we have the standard Window and Help menus, and with that, we're going to move on to the main editor window in the next video.